My name is Maria Victoria Machado, and in this speech I will first discuss the circumstances that led to this great speech in history, and second, the impact this speech had in the world. Discrimination against women based solely on their sex is so widespread that it seems to many persons normal, natural, or right. According to the AmericanRhetoric.com, these words were spoken on August 10, 1970 by Shirley Chisholm in front of the House of Representatives, urging them to pass the Equal Rights Amendment. First, I will discuss the circumstances that led to this speech, and second, the impact this speech had on the world. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica article about women's rights, during this time in history, the second wave of the feminist movement was happening. The first wave being in the late 1800s and early 1900s, when women fought for legal rights such as the right to vote. In the 1960s, women were still expected to be happy simply taking care of their home, their children, and their husbands. But following World War II, lots of changes had happened to women in developed countries, such as technical developments that helped in homemaking, longer life expectancies, and jobs available that were not reliant on physical labor. All this helped ignite the second wave of the women's rights movement. During this time, women were excluded from some of the state colleges and did not have equal access to higher education. They received harsher punishments than men for the same crime, and married women couldn't have their own credit cards or engage in independent business. The speech that Shirley Chisholm gave was instrumental in the women's rights movement and in showing fault in what people thought was normal, natural, and right. Just because it's the way things are doesn't mean that's the way they have to be. So I first discussed the circumstances that led to this speech, and now I will talk about the impact this speech had on the world. The impact of those listening was motivational. The Equal Rights Amendment was passed by the Congress in 1972. Around this time, other bills and laws were also passed in favor of the women's rights movements, such as legalizing contraceptives and the Equal Credit Opportunity Act and the Title IX education codes. According to Natasha Thompson in her book, Women's Rights, made equal access to higher educational and professional schools the law and prohibited discrimination based on sex. Okay, oh no. The speech still impacts the world today. Women still might make less money than men do, but we have progressed leaps and bounds from where we were in 1960. As Shirley said in her speech, legal discrimination between the sexes is in almost every instance founded on outmoded views of society and the pre-scientific beliefs about psychology and physiology. It is time to sweep away these relics of the past and set the further generations free of them. And since equality of the sexes are for the most part something I've never had to fight for, I believe Shirley succeeded in spreading her message. Today we have first investigated the circumstances that led to this great speech in history, and second, the impact the speech had on the world. Little girls can dream about becoming doctors or astronauts, or even stay-at-home moms, and because of great speeches and great women like Shirley Chisholm, who stood up to inequality, they can make their dreams come true. Women are no longer held back by social norms or laws, and we are able to do and be whoever we want to be. It is hard to imagine a time when those rights were not provided for us. And in 1970 was not that long ago. I strongly suggest everyone to read the entire speech. If nothing else, it gave me a great appreciation for things I took for granted. Thank you.